Setting up a podcast production room is not an easy task. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how you can set up acoustics in a small room like this, or at least how I've done it. Hi, I'm Mike from Casefile and Casefile Presents. On this channel, I'm releasing videos on podcasting and audio production. So if you enjoy the content, you subscribe with notification buttons. In November 2020, we moved to a new house, and a big difference was that it's not rented. It's mortgaged, we bought it. That means that I could have a room for myself and I could do it the way I want it. I could set up the studio just how I like it without worrying about landlords, and I knew that we're going to be here for at least a few good years and I'm not going to be moving all that gear around. I moved to the UK in 2006 and for the last 14 and a half years I've been renting. And that's great if you want, flexibility and freedom, but not so great if you want to set up a proper production room. In this house, I've got the smallest room for now, and I've done a couple of videos on how I set it up, how I measured it. But in this one, I wanted to focus specifically on acoustics and how I treated this room, which had a lot of issues. First of all, this is the smallest room in the house. It's sort of a single bed or office space, if you like. Now, small rooms are notoriously bad for audio, and there are a few reasons for that. First of all is that you can't really set it up with that 1/3 golden ratio. What that ratio means is that your listening position is in the first third of the room and you have the 2/3 behind you. So the sound waves have got that time to properly develop. In a small room like that, you've also got the walls that are, near each other. So the sound waves are just bouncing all around you, and that has a lot of problems in itself, like phase cancellations and modes and things like that. So we've got these low frequencies that just stay and then cover every other frequency in your mix. And then of course, there's a very little space to do something proper with the room itself. I of course understood the problems that will, wait for me, but you work with what you got. I've done a course on acoustics back at the uni, but that was years ago, so I've done a little bit more research recently, read some articles online and watched some YouTube videos on the matter. After doing research, reading reviews and feedback online, I decided on ordering panels from GIK Acoustics. And they've got the free consultation service on their website, so I filled out the form and shortly I was contacted by a member of their team called Luca. So I was emailing with Luca and I sent him photos of the room as well as the measurements. And I did say, look, I know that space is not ideal, but I appreciate any help you can give me. And after going back and forth, he recommended their Room Kit 1, which comes with 4 corner bass traps and 3 wall panels, rectangular wall panels. However, Luca said because of the size of the room, in reality I will need 2 corner bass traps in each corner. However, in this room, the 4th corner is where the door is at, and you can't see it right now because that's where the camera is. We record it for the B-roll, but that meant that I wouldn't be able to fit corner bass trap in that 4th corner. So what we've decided was 2 corner bass traps for each of the 3 corners, and then a rectangular monster bass trap with a scatter plate inside that I can hang on the door. I've ordered the panels with black fabric and a walnut finish. I've also ordered a cloud mount for one of the panels to hang on the ceiling. One more thing was that the corner bass traps come at the height of 120 centimeters, and floor to ceiling in this room was less than 240. So 3 of these corner bass traps I had custom made because I wanted them freestanding and fit the room. The total cost was £1,149, which in dollars is $1,560 with free shipping. After we've moved in, we've painted the room, and I've also measured it with a special measurement microphone to see what kind of issues are in this room. And as I predicted, there was a huge low frequency buildup that covered and masked everything else, especially higher frequencies. So I was curious how these acoustics panels will help. The order came very quickly, considering it was just before Christmas. However, when I've opened the boxes, I realized that they sent me 5 custom-made bass traps instead of 3. So I needed 3 full height and 3 custom-made. Instead, they sent me 1 full height and 5 custom-made. So I had to contact customer service, and they quickly corrected the mistake. So there weren't any issues there. Now for the setting up the acoustic panels. The easiest ones were the corner bass traps, so I've put the full height at the bottom and the custom made at the top, and they feel sturdy. I am not worried that they're gonna be falling down on me anytime soon, unless there is a massive earthquake going on or something like that. The next were the side panels that go on the side walls, the rectangular ones, and for that you'll need a partner or a spouse or a friend. And what you do is called the mirror technique. So you got one person, ideally you, sitting in a listening position where you be listening and mixing, and the other person's got that small mirror sliding across the side wall until you see the reflection of the monitor of the speaker in that mirror, and that's the first reflection point. And ideally you have 2 panels for each first reflection point for each speaker. Unfortunately, in this room, because it's so tiny, I don't really have space, so I've only treated the first reflection point of the nearest speaker. I've also measured the distance from the back walls and then the height, so the panels are at the same levels. The ceiling panel was a little bit more difficult to set up, so I've cleared the room and the rest I've covered with a dust sheet, like the desk and all, but at first I thought I'm gonna have it sort of parallel to the side wall, but there is a pendant light above me, and that wouldn't be possible unless I wanted to get rid of that light completely. So what I've done instead was to have it parallel to the back wall and the front wall, hanging just above the desk and just before the, that pendant. And I've used the drill to drill the holes and then mount that panel. It was a bit tricky, but we got it done. The monster bass trap, the big rectangular one to go in that 4th corner, was also a little bit tricky. And at first what I've done was I put a hook in a door and I want to hang it on there, and as you can see that wasn't the smartest idea because the panel was really heavy, so that hook quickly went sort of like sideways or vertical and just made a huge hole in the door. So instead what I've done, and I should have done it from the beginning, was use a simple like a towel hanger from bathroom, and then the wire from the back of the panel, from the back of that monster bass trap, goes on that hanger, so I can easily take it down or pull it up when I need it. And that gives me that flexible arrangement because, for example, for now when I'm recording this video, I need to have the doors wide open, so I need to take that bass trap down. For mixing, I can easily hang it there and then close the door. I can still get out. The door won't open completely, but I can still get out and get in with ease. So that was pretty cool. Now for the studio monitor setup. Ideally, you want to have that perfect triangle, and that means the distance between the speakers and to your ears is the same. I wasn't able to do that in this room because I couldn't sort of space them out more. There wasn't enough space. But what I've done was measure the central line from the desk and then the equal distance to each speaker, as well as the equal distance from the side walls and back walls, which is important for reflections. I've also measured the angle, so at the same angle, and the height. So the monitors are at the ear level, so my ears are pointing between the main driver and the tweeter. And I have not treated the reflection points of the desk. After setting it all up, I've again used the measurement microphone to see the improvement the panels made. I've used the Sonarworks microphone. It makes you walk around the room and measure from different places and different spots. And as you can see on the screen, it helped to tame that low frequencies a bit and open up the higher frequencies. However, it did not completely correct the issues there. So that's why I'm using the reference for software to EQ these problematic frequencies and flatten the frequency curve. As you can see, even with proper measurement and acoustics and help from the acoustics company, I still weren't able to treat this room to get rid of all the issues because of its size, and that's why I still needed that reference for Sonarworks software to digitally help me to achieve a neutral sound. Overall, I spent around £1,400, which is $1,900, and that's only on acoustic panels, the Sonarworks software, and foam absorbers for the monitors that they sit on. So as you can see, it's not as easy to set it up, but remember, it took me years to get to that point. So don't worry if you aren't able to start with that kind of setup straight away. In the future, I'll make a video on how you can start without this kind of fancy stuff around you, and that's what actually I've done it for years. In short, good headphones, that's the answer. I'm gonna spend some time in this room, test out it on the mixes, on podcast production, making music, and other work that I do. The plan is that in the future I might move to a bigger bedroom in a house that will probably relieve some of these issues, but for now I really like it here. It's really comfortable, it's quiet. I hope that video was helpful or interesting, and let me know what kind of acoustics you use for your podcast production work. But that's it for today. I'm Mike Migas. If you enjoy this content and want to learn more about podcasting, check out the rest of my channel or my website, mikemigas.com. For now, share, like, or subscribe, and I'll see you later.